Welcome to the Baja Rally, where off-road dreams come to life and adrenaline knows no limits. It's not just a race, it's an off-road adventure like no other. Buckle up and get ready to conquer the rugged terrain of Baja, Mexico, with Icom Senior Sales Manager John Paul and the Baja Rally team, as they discuss the event and how Icom's Sat 100 radio played an important role at the rally.
Hi, I'm John Paul from Icom, and I recently had the pleasure of speaking with Scotty Broman and Dave Pearson from the Baja Rally. I got an insider look into the event and saw how Icom's Sat 100 radio really helps streamline their entire communications platform. Here's what we had to say during our conversation.
How do the racers go off? Is it they're racing against the clock so that they're staggered 5-10 minutes behind each other?
Most of our top racers separate out by 2 minutes. And so depending on the quality of the racer and the motion that they get into, it's very possible they'll spend most of their day riding by themselves, searching for key waypoints throughout the desert and throughout the terrain. And sometimes that involves a road, sometimes it involves a trail, sometimes it involves a compass through the sand dunes with no markings whatsoever. And so it is one of the challenges is they spend a lot of time out soul searching, and we try and keep them that way a little bit. And the satellite communication for them is absolutely an emergency device that works amazing. That device connects us as an organization, and then it also then connects us to our racers out on the field for emergencies. So it really serves two purposes. Both of them have really made our life a lot easier and better to manage. It's cool.
Our most recent rally just took place. The use of the push-to-talk satellite radios is a complete game changer for the speed and the way in which we can respond to a sudden and urgent emergency. Ezekiel, just on standby. Do not fire the helicopter up. Over. So the nearest moto medics are too far away. Okay, we've sent him a message, no response. He is halfway back to Malvar. He's halfway between Malvar and your location. Next moto medics are too far away. Stand by. Okay, I recommend deploying. So, Kevin, let's continue on course and do the shortcut back to the San Carlos Road. We had a report of one rider saw another rider hurt and kept going. He kept going till the gas stop where there's staff to report to the staff that a guy is injured and needs treatment. We write to him, "Are you okay?" He receives a message and replies, "No, he's not okay." Then the next message is back to him, "Do you need medical assistance? Or do you need a helivac, like a evacuation?" And we haven't heard we didn't hear that reply back from him. And then he resumed. He was at 0 miles an hour, and then he started going down course. He's moving again, so he's under his own motion. We could also see another competitor behind him come to him and pass him, which tells us that he's okay. He's just trying to go ahead to a station where he can get some medical assistance, something small. Now here's the second message just come in. So we're able to do two-way messaging directly to the racers, and here's his message back to us. Okay. No, he doesn't need help. So we're able to talk. He's out in the middle of nowhere, and his family's here. He could be, his sister and his brother. They're like regular racing clients of ours, and the ability for us to be able to talk to him and say we can send it, yes or no, and that way we reserve the resource of not having to send a helicopter on a unnecessary goose chase, taking it out of service when someone else closer by might need it. So,
Are you also using the GPS tracking through the SAT system?
We do a couple of different. We like to have some redundancy in our efforts, and so that rally comp device that's been crafted by Mike Johnson is a initial tracker for us satellite wise that lets us see where our racers are at any given point. We require, to Scotty's point, we require them to carry the sat phone as well as a two-way communication device, because that provides us far more instant communication with these guys when things go a little bit south. If life is good, they never pull it out of their pocket. And if something goes wrong, usually the sat phone is their first swing of communication before we get into our third redundancy, which is, some guys still carry the spots and the GPS trackers that you see on Garmin and whatnot these days. But I think our two-way sat phone and our rally comp are our two primary comm devices on the race.
So here's how we'd send a message. We find the guy.
Where's the mechanical? Oh, he out of gas.
Yeah, he's the guy from Spain that did the rally school.
Yeah.
Ben, are you out of gas? And he'll get the message from satellite, and he can respond yes or no. So here in the command center, we have a couple of different platforms. So we can look at a live course that has the locations and positions of every staff and every medical rider. And then over here, we can zoom in and use a different, for instance, instructing someone how to get back on track. We can point something and tell them you need to go at 214 degrees riding. And so we can message these guys when they get lost and they get in trouble. We can and the best part is they feel like comfortable because they know someone's watching them. They might have a broken bike, out of gas, a kind of a broken rib, or they're a little hurt. But what it is they feel like, I feel comfortable because there's someone watching me, and I feel like I'm not alone in the desert. They get these messages, and it's like they are thankful that someone's watching and paying attention. That keeps them calm, while they're sitting out there. The guys who are stuck with no gas, the reality is they could be out there all night.
We had a rider on this event. It's a 6-day hard endurance ride through the Baja Peninsula. It's impressive. And I think we were day 4, and we had a rider that had a mechanical problem, blew a front tire, ultimately damaged a rim, and he couldn't continue. And so he satellite, he two-way radioed us in. We had a chase vehicle in relatively close order, and so we started navigating that way to go get him. In the effort of doing that, we came across another rider that had a down in an accident and broke a leg, and he was literally pulling out his satellite communicator as he radioed us as we came over the hill, and we caught him. So the rider that was ahead listened to a lot of the comms, and between the rider ahead, the helicopter, us on site, we not only figured out how to get him and his body out and for care, but we also managed to extradite his motorcycle at the same time. So it really ultimately worked very smooth for us.
But they've got to take the radio out of a gear bag and bring it to their person and power it on. It's not like it's on throughout the whole race, is it?
Correct. And so it's a really important point. And under normal circumstances, these guys they have it close by and powered off. And so we also can do a random check at the start line of the second and third, fourth day. If they've been using it and not recharging it, and they come up with a short charge, we're there to replace it for them and give them a warning and tell them that, we can swap it out if they happen to be low on battery and it becomes a penalty later. But I would also could share a screen and show you how we state our rule book mandate for this device and how we name the device specifically by model and make in the rule book of what is required and they also must acquire the sat radio from a single source so that the programming, there's no chance of having a wrong program. Prior to our riders orientation, the riders will show up outside of a big auditorium. We circle around in a courtyard, set up the boxes, open them, turn the phones on, leave them out there, come back after the briefing, and then run through some elementary, use, like etiquette and use. Under normal circumstances, these guys keep them off, and they're not listening.
I'm a big believer in having a plan to test and practice and have a uniform or unified group agreement on how we're going to talk on the radios. And the fact that you're doing that before this 5-6 day race and requiring this practice of being prepared and then being redundantly prepared, I think is ultimately creating more fun for the riders because they know that at the end of the day, they're extremely well protected and they're extremely safe because the organization is backing them up with all of these protocols and this equipment.
Scotty for Mike Abraham.
Copy.
Let's please just pull your tracker and your rally comp off. Put it onto Eddie's bike, please. So you're sure, Tom?
Yeah, I'm feeling strong.
Feeling strong, okay.
Roger.
I mean,
Yeah, just go at your own pace. You'll make it by dark for sure.
what are the chase guys saying? Are they?
No. They just, go ahead and get a jump start on them. Okay.
I know, but I'll respect their judgment if they think I'm so fucked up. I'm feeling strong, but I'm going slow. So that's,
What day is it?
what day is it? Friday. Who's the president? Who's the president of Mexico? I'm lost.
I'd say have fun. You're fine, brother. We now have the racers are calling their own cases in. We had a rider who broke some ribs and was laying in the rocks. There was not a grain of sand or any piece of soil around. 100% rocks. Spent a lot of time out there, but he called his. We could all hear on the organization channel, "Hey, this is rider 47. I need help." We have a guy who's it's his first real rally. He's an older guy, gentleman, 60s. He has been popping up on our radar at 62 kilometers in. We have a checkpoint here. Just saw him, and I wanted to give what they call a standing 8 count. Right? That's what boxing referees will do to a guy when he's kind of like, "Huh? What day is it? How you doing? Where are you?" That type of thing. And he passed the test. He was afraid we were going to pull him, but you can kind of sense it. I don't want to fight him, but we know he's good. So we sent him out. We got plenty of help behind him, and it adds to the adventure. I have no problem, after checking him out carefully about sending him back.
Hi, I'm Philip Stewart, and I've just recently taken part in the Baja Rally as a rookie. It's the first time I've ever actually been in a rally. Most of my life has been in national parks riding motorbikes in fairly tough terrain. The Baja Rally, though, the 6-day rally is really different. It's an extremely tough course. It's not a course that you can take lightly. Very well thought out course design, excellent navigation as well. I found it challenging, extremely interesting, and the scenery and the landscape, to be quite honest, was stunning as well. There was nothing within the rally that I can say was not a challenge. Basically every part of it was. The washouts and the river crossings, the stones, the cacti, extremely friendly cacti, very difficult to disengage yourself from them when you do go into them, which was another sort of fun part of that, was to ensure that you didn't leave the tracks or you didn't leave the roads. I feel that I have learned a lot, particularly in Rally Raid. The navigational systems that were really outstanding and very good, extremely accurate as well. So the course designers and the race directors and so on, they did an outstanding job. It was really very, very good because it was all brilliant. It really was. And I'm not joking. The first day was an absolute disaster. Right. The joys of rally riding. Been here about 10 minutes already. Got my leg stuck. Can't get it out from under the bike, and I have tried absolutely everything. I could pick the bike up without any problem, but I came down this riverbed and you can see a lot of cacti and stuff. So I thought I'd be smart and I'd be able to cut across, and I was going to carry on down and then move to my left and up. And well, rocks are a little bit better than sand, but I don't know what I did. Must have hit this gang combination of stone and vegetation, and now I'm sitting here with my leg stuck inside. The second day it became a lot easier. The first day I did spend some time, over an hour, by myself with my bike on top of me, looking at the landscape, which was really good. And that was my own fault. When I was trying to do a river crossing, I dropped the bike again on my leg, and I had to wait for Gnarly Dave to come out and extract me, which I am deeply indebted to. Gnarly, thank you so much. And also, Gnarly Dave, thank you so much for removing the cactus from my leg. That was really very helpful.
David has come on board as an official for the whole event after being a client for a number of years. And David, when he first started, our protocol was to have a Cessna flying around up at 10,000 feet for 6 or 7 hours at a time. The purpose of that is to have one-way VHF communication from the plane
Absolutely.
down to medical staff that are just wired in with handhelds. So the terrestrial issue is that the handhelds can't receive or transmit from inside of canyons. I mean, they're essentially worthless for any distance or topography. So the purpose of the plane was that we could easily communicate through the plane to the mobile medics that are constantly wired when listening for a call. Hey, Moto Medic 5, you've got a call ahead of you. Proceed fast. Then they could use the relay to give a sat phone telephone number to then collaborate with the pilot and the paramedic on board the rescue chopper to collaborate together determine whether or not there's a consensus to deploy the helicopter for this case. So instead of one person, it's two.
I took third pro at this race last year and then migrated myself to Saudi Arabia for the famous Dakar rally that happens through Saudi in January. And so it was cool to come back and get connected with Scotty and help out at the event and really see it from both a racer perspective and an organizational spin. So I've enjoyed the efforts for sure. The 2 or 3 systems we have in place have been what we were racing on 10 years ago is completely different. And Iridium satellite comms made a big change. The Rally Comp, which was also connected to Iridium satellites, made a big change for us. And so that has made our event a little less expensive and a lot safer in the big picture of things.
These motorcyclists are going up and down some of the rockiest and roughest terrain on the globe and potentially dumping, dropping, falling, tumbling, potentially to significant injury. And the point of rescue is the radio that survives all of that. Is that correct?
It is one of the most important. Absolutely.
I love it. I absolutely love it.
He was out of gas, but then he wasn't.
He had got a new message. Jim should borrow gas from competitors only, please. Okay. And then your next message is going to say, okay for Moto Medics to share gas.
I had no gas.
Here's the thing. If you could fill up and go take him gas, that would be it.
He has enough gas to get started. His bike's not starting now.
Okay.
So it's not a gas issue.
Whoever, there are at least 2 guys, Kiki Firkin, 37, and Rene Escobar.
Would never.
Hold on a sec. But there's a couple guys that are in Azufre, past Portecitos Road, maybe only 2 miles up. We're either going to have to go.
I just flew from that.
If you want to get off, I can show you what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I think it's impressive what you're doing with all this redundant equipment. I think it's really cool that your riders are going over this rocky terrain. And you've put all of these procedures and policies in place to take something that is ultimately enormously dangerous and make it safer for the people that are competing. And I think that's pretty cool.
Us too. And that's it's part of what's important about what we built in 10 years and how we can, there's their assets, these infrastructures and these process and the protocol, the experience of having done it, understanding transport for a victim, and then having some practice. We just had a good run, last episode, and we're looking forward to expanding the event. Because of the safety element, we can handle 2 to 2.5 times the capacity.
Obviously coming up in the near future in Baja is the infamous Baja 1000, done with very different vehicles. But ultimately, the event, I would imagine, has a certain amount of overlapping characteristics. Do you do anything in conjunction with the crew that runs that?
I've done the Baja 1000. It is a unique event in itself. They, outside of the fact that there are motorcycles in both, they run very differently. The Baja 1000 is a point-to-point race chasing through ribbons on whooped-out roads. The Baja 6-day, we get access into private ranch land and private property that is virgin that nobody ever gets to go see. And so we get scenery and terrain that far exceeds what you do in the Baja 1000. And they're just very different, other than they share a couple of vehicle similarities and that they all play on the same peninsula, but in very different ways.
But more importantly to safety, our race takes place far away from humans and for the most part, animals, where the Baja 1000 cannot exist or make it without racing through populous areas. Part of our secret is the IP and the ability to, our environmental impact study, which is something that we work very hard to get, and the licensing and the permit that comes with it to do the event, but as it comes up, when the Baja 1000 is taking place, David was a veteran pro racer as well as myself. I used to work inside of the organization at an arm's length and the other organizations. And, it's good for the sport, but I created Baja Rally as the motorcyclist's answer to SCORE's problem. SCORE being the sanctioning body for the Baja 1000 and Baja 500. Safety for motorcycles, driving with big trucks on the same course and getting hit or not having enough precaution. And so the whole impetus of Baja Rally, a lot of that just basically sprang up from solving an existing problem for motorcycle racers.
This race is different. And for a lot of people, we have to explain the differences. And sometimes, it's not about banging bars. It's about strategy. This game has a strategy component that you don't see in normal desert races, because often with a 2-minute spread, you may not know where you are positionally on the course at any given time, and you may not know what position you're in at any given time, because at every start of every day, the order gets reorganized based off of the results of the previous day. And so the game goes beyond just simply racing fast, and it becomes also racing intelligently and being able to look at the strategy when you come on across other riders. So there's a whole different aspect to this race than just putting your throttle down and trying to, work your way through some ribbons or a GPS course. It's one of the things that I think gets Scotty and I both passionate when we compare ourselves to other type of races.
As convertists, we've converted from the one side to the other and seen both worlds. Until you've landed on Mars, you don't really know what it's like. So you remember the first time you landed on Mars? Well, the converts, when people convert from traditional motorcycle racing and try this rally thing, it's like playing chess and you're strategizing over a long period of time. David raced the 1000, as did I. When you go home after that event, you don't tell your neighbors, oh, it was fun. It was the most fun I've ever had. It is stressful and it is hard. And the Baja 1000, you come back from it, fun is the last word you just use to describe it. And racers in that event spend as much as a week or more, several days at the least, to practice and pre-run. And that costs money with hotels, gas, support trucks. And guys are practicing for Baja 1000 for weeks in advance, costing money and time. In the Baja Rally, you have 6 days, you get all the mileage. It's 1,000 miles. Our fastest racer in the last one, 1,000 miles of racing over 6 days, 23 hours, just under 24 hours. Very similar to the experience at the Baja 1000, 1,000 miles, 24 hours. but you're spending it over 6 days and making friends with everybody. You start fresh every day. It's a cool dynamic. When you're out there with us, I mean, we're going to have the best time ever.
What's next for your organization and streamlining your technology? And how can Icom be a part of that?
You're going to turn it into a sexy little flip phone that weighs 8 ounces. That maybe it'll just be a holographic image that wraps around your wrist. Maybe we'll get up to full head display with our goggles with a microphone. It's coming. I know you guys will keep thinking of new stuff, and we'll keep trying it. Given what we have today to what we had 10 years ago, what was a brick is now far more a feather, you know?
I cannot tell you how thrilled and impressed I am with the way your organization is using technology to improve safety, as well as your communication to the riders and to the competitors to help them have the time of their lives with whatever stress it brings. I think the great joy isn't in the competing, it's in the completing. And that's where they say they had the best times of their lives. But during the event and preparing for it, knowing that they have the best equipment and the best preparation is a testimony to the preparations that you help these guys go through.
Yeah, we just want to see them have fun, be safe, and we know that what we play on is very risky. And so if we can balance those things well enough that they get to meet a bunch of people, spend 5 or 6 nights together, breaking bread and enjoying themselves, it's a cool experience. Well worth coming down. Come see us, John Paul. We'll get you lost in the desert. That's what our job is to get you lost in the desert and hope that you can figure your way out, because it's about getting lost in Baja.
Lost in the Baja.